What's up, guys? I'm gonna try something different tonight. I've been thinking about it for the last couple of weeks, trying to do something different with with the videos. And this is something that I do every night. I normally, to close the night, I like to, typically when I have the time, I like to enjoy a cigar, at the end of the night with typically some beverage, uh, typically coffee. Believe it or not, kind of weird, right? Close to 10 p.m. So normally at this time, but I don't seem to have problems falling asleep after. Just a little bit of coffee, obviously, not really much. But the main thing is the cigar that I'm smoking. I'm just enjoying winding down. So maybe the soothing effect of the cigar, in this case, the nicotine, small amounts of nicotine, they seem to have a soothing effect on me that at least counteract any possible jitters or anything that the caffeine might provide. But anyways, everybody's different, so you should do you, I will do me. Okay, so don't criticize me, okay? Anyways, tonight I'm smoking in my opinion probably a really special cigar. It's Atabey, or Atabey. That would be the proper Spanish pronunciation. I don't think that I can get this to focus here, but anyways, this is a really special cigar in my opinion. It's not a everyday cigar because of the price point. It's it's up there in the $20+ per stick, so it's not a cheap cigar, but it's a very special cigar. It has grown on me, this type of cigar, because typically I tend to smoke a more stronger or more aggressive cigar, if you want to call it, stronger cigars, darker wrappers with a little bit more on the bold side. But the mild cigars, this cigar in particular, is the one that have, like I say, catch my attention in the last couple of years, because it's a beautiful cigar. It's a really well-made cigar. The blend is undisclosed, it's, some people says that that's a gimmick, that some cigar makers utilize to track attention, and when you go and smoke the cigar, you're like, okay, yeah, this is probably this and this, or Nicaragua or Dominican Republic or whatnot. But very few cigars, have pulled it off. They've been able to pull it off, like Atabey in this case, because by keeping it undisclosed, obviously they pick attention, some people, and some people argue out there, this is supposed to be one of the secret in the industry or in the streets, is that there's allegedly some Cuban in this cigar, and in the blend, there's at least like 1 or 2 leaves of Cuban cigars, which in my opinion it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Nicaraguan, Dominican, Costa Rica. Cigar is actually made in Costa Rica, but there's non-Costa Rican tobaccos inside this blend in the cigar itself. So but even the wrapper, I'm not quite sure if it's undisclosed. It looks definitely like some kind of like a shade, wrapper. It looks like a Connecticut shade. Could be from Ecuador, could be from anywhere. But again, it doesn't matter really. What really matters is like, it's good. It's a great cigar. People that smokes Cuban cigars, they tend to sometimes like, they taste like Cuban, you know, allegedly. So, but anyways, it's outside of that, I have tried Cuban cigars, and yeah, I can tell there's a little bit, there's a note out there lingering that kind of reminds me of something, but I'm not gonna say that's the main reason why I like it that much. It's just I like it. There's some aromas in the cigar. I would say there's some hints of like something that I'm very familiar with, which it's Nicaraguan viso fillers. So I'm willing to bet there's some Nicaraguan on that, you know, on that blend. But again, it doesn't matter. What really matters is that it's good. It's great. So let's do a quick cut here. I'm gonna be kind of fancying myself here because, well, it's a special cigar. So yeah, let's I apologize, I wasn't ready. Let's get fancy, okay? This is one of those fancy cutters. I normally don't use this kind of stuff, so watch, I'm probably gonna mess it up. But what really matters is it is a nice, it's a beautiful blend. Ooh, nice. Nice cut. I don't know if I can get this to focus, but that's it. That's all that we need. Yeah. Right there. That's as much as you need to cut. That's it. That's all that we need. And typically I use butane, but again, since this is a really nice cigar, let's go all the way fancy, okay? So let's try it with a old traditional match, okay? Yeah, I need to practice, you know, I've been kind of out of practice lately. Okay. Lighting a cigar with match or with matches is also an art. You know, you have to be more patient. Sometimes you tend to like mess it up a little bit because you don't have that much control, you know. That's one of the beauties of the butane torches, you know, you can be more precise, you know. So with matches, sometimes you don't have that much control, especially if there's like a little breeze coming out. You have no control of that flame. So, but that's it. It was almost. Give some time. Okay. Ooh, got a dud. Typically, it only takes me 1 or 2 matches, but I don't know what's going on here with these matches today. So there you go. That's it. I should be good to go after this. Okay, that's it. So, haha, only 2. That second one doesn't count. There's definitely something. There's something about this cigar that, like I say, sometimes I try to like analyze, but can't really I can't really point my finger at it. But it's nice. It's a really nice cigar. I like it. Yeah. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee. I'm sorry, I'm indulging myself here. Give me 1 second. There's something, like I said, about this cigar that reminds me of these Condega Viso, Condegas from, Visos from Condega, Nicaraguan tobaccos, I might be wrong, I might be completely off, I don't know, I'm just, like I said, I'm just going by what I have learned so far. And since the blend on this cigar is undisclosed, well, like I say, it's just a guess. Anyways, doesn't matter. What matters is that I like it, and you should smoke what you like. In my case, I always been kind of like weird, from on when it comes down to like my taste, on stuff, from music, to like food, stuff like that. But some of my friends used to make fun of me back in the island, because I was this kind of like a oddball, in the sense, when with my music taste, I was the guy that I could hear anything from one extreme to the other one. I can switch, from like one stream to the other one and enjoy both, like from like heavy metal, back in the 80s, I mean, I'm a kid from the 70s, so I grew up I was a teenager in the 80s, so of course heavy metal was big even in the island. So I grew up, listening to like heavy metal. So of course, back then, Ozzy Osbourne, Megadeth, Metallica, of course, Iron Maiden, all those. And I was able to enjoy and listening to that kind of music. And later, obviously, as I grew older and wiser, I started listening to other kind of stuff. So I was able to go from one point to the other one, And as an adult, obviously, I enjoy a little bit more sophisticated music every now and then. I will listen to like classical music when I'm, like when I feel that vibe, that mood. I will listen to classical music, new age stuff like that. And I can like I say, I can switch. I like to mess with my kids or my wife. And when we're in the truck, I will go from like Pantera, Sepultura to like Yanni. And my wife is like, what are you doing, Well, I like to do it to mess with her, so you can check with her. She will tell you. So in the cigars, I'm pretty much the same. I'm not that kind of guy that will say, well, I only smoke such and such, or I only smoke this brand in particular, or I used to laugh, when I have the chance to travel overseas. I came across, in certain countries, I came across with, certain individuals, cigar smokers on the cigar lounges in the Middle East, and we will talk, and the subject might come, and they will come across when I ask a question about, oh, have you tried, certain brand, a non-Cuban brand, and they will be like, oh no, I'm sorry, I only smoke Cubans. My typical reply was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you, like, oh my God, why? Why are you doing that to yourself? I mean, not that it's nothing wrong with Cuban cigars, of course, there's some amazing Cuban cigars. Well, not that many nowadays. There's a big difference in there. There's a reason for that, Cuban cigars, they used to be like way over here, like 30, 40, 50 years ago. In the last 20 years, there's been a big, Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, Honduras, they closed that gap. There was a gap, yes, 40, 50 years ago. Nowadays, not so much, trust me. I have tried the current production Cuban cigars. There's some out there that are good, if you come across, them, yeah, you should have, you should take the advantage of trying them. But the Cuban cigar nowadays, unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff going on with the country of Cuba, And something that I have learned, and this is coming from Cuba, or my Cuban brothers, some of my Cuban friends in the industry, they say there's, the people that is working right now on those fields, on those factories, the cigar rolling factories, they don't have that heart, there might be a few of them that they still love it, but there's not that many. For most of them, it's just a job. So if you don't have that passion for the industry, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard for you. Again, if it's just a job, you're just there, looking at the watch, trying to like, hey, 8 hours, I'm out of here. You necessarily, you don't put that much effort, especially if they're not paying you that good. So there might be a little bit of that, there's a reason for that, There's some, again, I have heard that there's some Cuban cigars, especially the custom made ones, the ones that are made like on the black market, some Cubans, they roll their own cigars at home. They say that those cigars are beautiful. If you can get your hands in one of those, you will be amazed. But the current production, the stuff that is put out by the machine, like the Habanos SA, is hit and miss, so, and that is sad because I need to puff, I don't want this to go out. That is sad because there's a lot of like history and tradition and heritage in the pride in the Cuban people, about their cigars. And yes, 50 years ago, yeah, they were like amazing. They were unique. I wasn't there. That precedes my time. I'm turning 50 this year, so but I'm going by what the old timers are telling me, and they say that, yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same. So, but hopefully one day the Cuban situation will change. We don't know. We don't know. But yeah, my advice to people, is like, hey, smoke everything. Smoke everything. Don't limit yourself, thinking on just being like a brand loyal. No, try everything, because especially here in the United States, cigar smokers in the United States, we are spoiled. We just don't know it, because we're chasing that, that forbidden fruit, like the Cuban cigars. Everybody, always ask, oh man, how about Cubans? Have you tried a Cuban cigar? Are they really that good? And again, I am like, well, yeah, you there's some good Cubans out there, I'm pretty sure, but out of a box of 20, sometimes you're lucky if you get 10, 10 that are like top notch, no problems. Some of them will have some issues. And again, I'm not trying to bash my Cuban brothers. It's just that this is part of a bigger problem. And again, I don't want to get into politics. This is not my place. Especially I'm not Cuban, but guess what? I'm really close to Cuba. I'm really close to Cuba. In a sense. I have many Cuban friends. And they all have told me the stories. And that's for the Cuban people to decide. But when you live under a system that doesn't really reward your efforts, and they just, it's, yeah. Anyways, there's not, unfortunately, according to some of my Cuban friends that are close to Cuba, they say that, yeah, it's not, it's not the same. It's, some people are just, showing up. Basically, hey, I'm here, so I don't get in trouble. So, if you get your hands into a Cuban, or for that matter, any, super premium cigar, like I say, like, it doesn't have to be Cuban. It could be Dominican, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Honduras. Yeah, you should try it, and you will be amazed, by the quality of some of these cigars. It's like amazing. The amount of effort that is put, to come up with a blend, and or the effort that is put on a brand in particular, it's truly it's a labor of love. I heard this quote from Nick Perdomo, in one of the documentaries, one of the many documentaries that I have watched, and Nick Perdomo says in one of these, cigar making is not an easy job. It's not a job that is run with calculators. It's run by your heart. Sometimes you the science and rules that apply to other businesses don't necessarily apply into the cigar making, because sometimes you have to do certain stuff that in a same knowledge and theory on business will say that you're supposed to do this, but the tobacco is telling you to do the opposite, which is like sit down and wait for the tobacco to be ready. That's the problem. That part of the problem with Cuba is that they're putting out so much green, cigars, and by green I mean like young, you know, like unfermented, not completely. They're just rushing, you know, to put out, because obviously the demand is so, you know, supply and demand, you know. In this case, the demand is so big for Cuban cigars, not obviously in the United States, but in other parts of the world, that sometimes they don't have the time to sit down and wait for the tobacco to be ready. That tobacco, before being rolled, needs to be aged, needs to be fermented. And sometimes there's a lot of green cigars out there, you know. So that's part of the art of cigar making, is knowing when the tobacco is ready. And cigar makers that are at that level, they know they can talk to the tobacco. The tobacco talk to them, tell them that they will smoke the tobacco, they will roll a quick cigar, you know, in the factory, they will smoke. They will know when it's ready. The tobacco will tell you when it's ready. And it's like I say, I'm in love. I'm in love with the process, you know. And I just want to continue learning, you know. And I'm eager to learn. The more that I learn, you know, the more I fall in love with the cigar making, you know. I just want to continue learning and hoping. At this point, like I say, it's just a hobby for me, yes. Sorry. But also sometimes I feel kind of like a responsibility, you know. Responsibility in a sense of like, I have acquired this knowledge by, you know, smoking first and then rolling. Rolling cigars for me has opened my eyes, you know, because in my opinion, cigar rolling, learning to roll cigars, has made me also a better smoker. I understand better now, you know, the process, and I understand, you know, cigars, you know. So, and I'm learning, you know. I'm not saying that I'm there. I'm not there yet, but learning to roll cigars made me a better cigar smoker. So I feel compelled to share that knowledge with other people that might not understand, you know. They might have some misconceived, you know, opinions or you know, about tobacco, you know, that are wrong, because, well, the media nowadays talking about how bad tobacco is and whatnot. And again, I'm not gonna get into argument with those people, but you can't really convince me that tobacco, you know, cigars, you know, or tobacco in particular, is really that bad, you know. Yes, like everything else, there's some risk associated to this, but it's just like, you know, eating certain foods will cause you some damage too. Sugars, you know, I'm not gonna get into that, but you know, it's like everything, you know, balance and moderation. You can enjoy a premium cigar, you know. Cigars are not the problem. Are you okay? One of the cats. Tobacco is not the problem. The problem is all those chemicals that you find on those cigarettes. That is the problem. What is in there? I don't know. But on a premium cigar, and a hand-rolled premium cigar, guess what? It's all 100% tobacco. So how can you explain to me that we got cigar makers, not only cigar makers, but obviously I like to utilize cigar makers as an example, because some of these cigar makers that come out of our countries, you know, the Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Cuba, Puerto Rico, yeah, let's mention Puerto Rico, right? Some of these guys have been in contact, touching tobacco since very young age. They start like by they start by picking tobacco, sorting tobacco, helping their parents, their grandparents or great grandparents. They've been in contact with tobacco since like 11, 12 years of age, and they touch every day. They then obviously they start even smoking, you know, and some of those cigar makers are dying at age 80, 90. There have been records of some cigar smokers dying of what 100, 112, I think was a guy here in the United States. That, you know, this one was like a couple of years ago. This is just like I said, this is an impromptu video, so I should have look up his name. But you can Google it. He was a veteran, you know. He's a black guy, black dude. He died of 112, I think, and he claimed that at some point he was smoking like 10 or 20 cigars per day, some crazy number like that, like every day. You know, it's like, so how can you explain that? There's no way. There's no way you can convince me that cigars are really that bad. But again, to each their own, you know, and you do you, I do me, okay? That's for the liberals out there. But anyways, I should not be getting into politics. They're gonna hate me. Yeah. It's a really, really nice, really smooth cigar. Like I say, the thing that catch my attention is that for the last, especially in the last couple of years, I've been, I tend to lean more into the more aggressive, you know, more bold blends, you know, the really dark wrappers. And this cigar is like completely the positive of, opposed to all that I tend to lean and smoke, you know, that kind of like a Nicaraguan profile, you know. And this cigar is like, you know, if just to make you, you know, give you an idea, understand, it's like going back to the example of my music listening. It's like when I go from like heavy metal, like Metallica, really bold, and to all of the sudden switch to classical music, you know, like symphony, orchestra music. That's basically what this cigar is. You know, over here I'm with the heavy stuff, you know, like Nicaraguan, the really dark wrappers, and bold and spicy, and then this guy is in the other end, like a beautiful symphony orchestra, you know. Yeah, and again, that's the point. You should not limit yourself, you know. You should smoke each, you know, from each extreme and everything in between. Smoke everything. That's how you develop your palate, you know. That's an advice that I got from many friends in the industry. It's like, hey, smoke everything, develop your palate, you know. That's how you learn to become a, you know, you can judge better later, you know, what you like, when you don't like, what you like and what you don't like. That's how you learn, you know. But anyways, I think that yeah, a little bit over 30 minutes now, so I'm gonna continue enjoying my cigar here and continue winding down for the night. I'm gonna leave you guys, you know, I don't want to bore you guys more than what I probably already did. And yeah, let's stay in touch, okay? Bye.